أحداث 11 من أيلول سبتمبر بين أمريكا والقاعدة، إنذارات بحدوثها لم يؤخذ بها. تهاون متعمد أم فشل استخباراتي؟ تغلغل أجهزة الاستخبارات الأمريكية في القاعدة وأخواتها. 11 من أيلول سبتمبر بين المؤامرة والإرهاب.
On that day, Richard Fuse told me, he said to me, what if there is no FBI director when this attack occurs? And I said, do you mean the attack is that close? Do you think it's imminent? And he said, oh yes, the attack is imminent, definitely. And I said to him, well, I will go back to New York immediately and I will find out if my diplomatic contacts have heard anything from Baghdad. And he responded to me saying, no, it's too dangerous. Do not go back to New York again. I want you to stay out of New York City. We are expecting airplane hijackings and a strike on the World Trade Center and the possible use of a miniature thermonuclear device.
الحروب الاستباقية بين الواقع واختلاق الذرائع، غزو العراق بين لعبة الاستخبارات والحقائق، ما مصير العارفين بالحقائق؟ عين على حقيقة الاجتياحات الأمريكية للمنطقة بالوثائق.
Now, in the United States, there are only three men: President George Bush, Vice President Dick Cheney, and Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld. Those are the only people. And this was, I must be very clear, those people already knew about the 9/11 conspiracy in its precise detail. And he said, Susan, how often do you think a man and woman are standing on a street corner with a video camera queued up, ready to record a car accident? This man and woman were Mossad agents, and they have been waiting on the street corner since early morning, ready to record this attack.
أربعة 54% من النساء الكولومبيات هن تحت خط الفقر. وهل تعلمون أن امرأة قضت كل يوم بسبب النزاع المسلح في كولومبيا خلال عام 2003؟ بين الحلم وظلم الواقع يبقى الكفاح والصمود عنوان المرأة الكولومبية.
Lo que ha generado la presencia militar y más la presencia militar estadounidense en el territorio colombiano es el aumento de la violencia contra las mujeres y los niños. Que las fuerzas militares norteamericanas y nacionales en mi país son responsables de la presencia paramilitar. No solamente financian, sino que han formado, han capacitado a los paramilitares para hacer de la violencia un diario vivir para la población en Colombia.
كيف تعاقب أمريكا مواطنيها على قول الحقيقة؟ وهل حرية التعبير ما زالت موجودة في بلد لطالما تفاخر بالحريات والديمقراطية؟ وكيف يمكن للحقيقة أن تتحول إلى خيانة من خلف ستار قانون الباتريوت والإجحاف المتطرف؟
We have transcripts from 28,000 phone calls, 8,000 emails, hundreds of faxes. And I had, so we have this on tape. I had gone to telephone the offices of Senator John McCain and Senator Trent Lott, who were leaders in the Republican Party, requesting to testify about my first-hand dealings with the Iraqi embassy prior to the war. And I wanted to talk about the Iraqi peace framework and how there had been such strong opposition to the war and how we got a lot of things right. And as soon as they knew that they were going to be exposed for having deceived the world community, because this truth is very important. Even today, you see what they're doing to Iran. They're recycling the same arguments for war that they used against Iraq. And I'm proud to have been such a thorn in their side that they had to come after me. This is a reverse compliment. If they have to attack you so hard, and they have to, as they call it in Washington, go nuclear on somebody, it's because that person is actually making a lot of trouble for them.
سياسة التمييز العنصري أو الأبرتايد في جنوب أفريقيا وفي فلسطين المحتلة، من هو مهندسها وما أهدافها وهل من أوجه تشابه؟ وإذا كانت المقاطعة قد نجحت في جنوب أفريقيا فما مصيرها مع إسرائيل؟ من داخل النضال السري ضد حركة الأبرتايد في جنوب أفريقيا.
Of course, apartheid was very cruel. We lost many people. People were massacred, were shot, were beaten. But we never had this extent of military barbarity, of helicopters firing missiles, planes dropping bombs on populated areas, tanks going in, blazing away at people.
هل بتنا في زمن أضحت فيه مقاومة جرائم الحرب جريمة؟ لكن إرادة وتصميما قلبا هذه المعادلة وحققا العدالة ولو بعد حين. الريثيون 9 من الداخل.
That moment came when we saw the film from Cana in southern Lebanon of the bomb which murdered so many innocent people sort of in Cana. Raytheon do have no excuse when they say it's only the software. What was happening in Derry was contributing. It was part of the network of Raytheon, which went towards the manufacture and delivery and guiding of these bombs. So they're guilty, they're guilty.
كما هذه الأسوار حمت أهل ديري شمال إيرلندا، هبت الأمهات هنا لحماية أطفال غزة عام 2008. قاومنا، صمدنا، وانتصرنا. حكاية أطفال غزة من داخل ديري شمال إيرلندا.
Because we knew in between 2006 and 2008-2009, we knew that Raytheon had been working with Israel to produce, for example, a new bunker buster that could be used in built-up areas.
القدس أرض من وعاصمة من؟ وما مصير هذه الأرض المقدسة؟ هل ستبقى أرضا مقدسة لجميع الديانات السماوية؟ القدس ومصيرها من الداخل.
All the religious issues between the three faiths are focused clearly in Jerusalem. And it's so important to understand why the people of these three faiths have particular feelings about Jerusalem and want to have access to Jerusalem. But if you look at Jerusalem, you can also understand how the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians has come to such a head, to such a climax. Because if you see what has been happening in the Judaizing of the old city, the building of settlements around Jerusalem, you begin to see the political game that Israel has been playing in the land as a whole, but it's very much focused on Jerusalem. And that is why the city of Jerusalem brings this whole conflict, the religious aspects and the political aspects, very, very clearly into focus.
الصهيونية المسيحية أي جرس تقرع في أذانكم؟ وما هي العناصر المشتركة بينها وبين الحركة الصهيونية؟ أم هما وجهان لعملة واحدة؟ عين على الصهيونية المسيحية من الداخل.
Clearly, the European powers, this is France and Germany and Britain particularly, as superpowers before America, had an interest in the Middle East geopolitically. They wanted to control the trade routes to India, to Africa and Asia, and therefore Palestine was strategic. And at the time, the Ottoman Empire ruled much of the Middle East, and at various times Britain and France were friendly toward the Ottomans and at other times opposed them. And so as Britain and France were competing with each other to control the Middle East and the North Africa coast, Napoleon became the first world ruler in 2,000 years to promise the Jews a homeland, promise them Palestine, because he wanted Jewish bankers to fund his military expeditions against Britain. Britain defeated France, and Britain assumed the role that Napoleon had sought to achieve. And then at the end of the 19th century, Britain and France were competing against Prussia, against Germany. And so the Balfour Declaration, for example, promising the Jews a homeland in Palestine, was Britain's attempt to control Palestine militarily and politically. And so in one sense, we use the Jewish people to achieve our ends.
All of our differences disappear, and we truly become Christians united in behalf of Israel.
الصهيونية المسيحية، ما هي الأسباب الحقيقية وراء ازدهار هذه الحركة؟ وما نوع العلاقة والمصلحة التي تربط إسرائيل باليمين المسيحي في الولايات المتحدة؟ ما هو الدور الذي تلعبه هذه الحركة في الصراعات الحالية الدائرة حول العالم، خاصة في الشرق الأوسط؟ الصهيونية المسيحية ودوافعها السياسية.
Christian Zionism as a movement is very broad. It reflects a wide range of opinion on Israel and on the land and on Jerusalem and so on, and therefore it's hard to tie down who's influencing whom. But at a simple level, US politicians depend heavily on the Israel lobby for their funding, their campaign funding, and so every 4 years they all become very pro-Israel.
AIPAC especially.
AIPAC, for example. Yes. But the weapons industry is probably 6 or 7 times more generous than the Israel lobby. So the US armaments business has a strong influence on US politicians, and presumably Israeli firms do as well. Clearly every 4 years they're all eager to please Israel because that is going to guarantee their succession politically.
الإيجنت أورنج ما هو ومما يتكون؟ وما هي التداعيات الصحية السلبية بعيدة المدى جراء التعرض لهكذا مواد كيميائية استخدمتها وحدات الجيش الأمريكي ضد الشعب الفيتنامي إبان حربها عليه؟ ومن يتحمل المسؤولية؟
It was a chemical and containing dioxin, and dioxin is the most toxic chemical or substance ever known to science.
Now, why is it an issue?
Because of this spray, 1/4 of the total area of South Vietnam were destroyed in different meanings. First is the harm to the human beings. About 4.8 million Vietnamese people were directly sprayed by this chemical, repeatedly over a long period of time. And because of the dioxin damage to their endocrine, immune, and reproductive systems, the victims of Agent Orange suffer from multiple health conditions. Some are lethal quickly, and others doom people to a life of misery.
شكل جديد من الديمقراطية وحقوق الإنسان من منظور الإدارة الأمريكية يمارس في كل أنحاء العالم. حروب متحركة بذرائع مختلقة في كل مكان، فضائح واعتقالات سياسية وعمليات خطف. الكوبيون الخمسة ومشقة الانتظار من الداخل.
Nosotros podemos argumentar con muchas evidencias que nuestros familiares no son culpables del cargo de conspiración para cometer espionaje y que el caso lo politizó el gobierno de Estados Unidos. Primeramente, estos hombres fueron detenidos por la petición de los congresistas cubanos americanos con una gran filiación y una gran relación con estas organizaciones terroristas en el sur de la Florida. Precisamente el gobierno de Estados Unidos en aquel momento, el presidente Clinton pudo haber evitado la detención de estos hombres porque la información que ellos buscaban también se compartía con esas autoridades. Por eso en un juicio donde declararon altos oficiales y ex oficiales del gobierno de Clinton, quedó muy claro que estos hombres no eran culpables del cargo de conspiración para cometer espionaje y que Cuba no constituía ni constituye una amenaza para ese país.
الكبالة ما هي ومن هم أتباعها وما هي أهدافها وما حقيقة الجدل القائم حولها؟ هل هي عملية أم ديانة أم فلسفة؟ وهل مقارنتها بالأديان أو المعتقدات الأيديولوجية يسيء فهم هذه الجماعة؟
The hardest people to accept Kabbalah seem to be, even though they have it maybe in their origins, are Jews, and it's so much easier. But eventually, I believe that they will need to study, even not studying Kabbalah, but at least study these principles. You know, whether it's Moses, the Prophet Muhammad, or Jesus, everyone believed in love thy neighbor. And if you don't live like that, you don't really connect to God.
Right.
That is the bottom line of everything. Is love thy neighbor as yourself.
الرب إلهنا وإياه نعبد، والتوراة شريعتنا وبها نؤمن. لا نعترف بهرطقة النظام الصهيوني، فقوانينه لا تنطبق علينا. سنمضي في طريق التوراة أبداً في النار والماء، وسنمشي في طريق التوراة أبداً لنقدس اسم السماء. حراس المدينة أو الناتوري كارتا من الداخل.
Establishment of Naturi Karta was simply to protect the Jewish community, the Jewish people, from this terrible invasion of Zionism, which fell upon the Jewish community in Palestine.
Do you think the dismantlement of Israel is plausible now?
Is it possible?
Plausible.
Plausible.
Possible.
Possible, yes.
Probable.
Every word is yes.
هل بات الإسلام يضم أكثر المتطرفين عدوانية بين كل الديانات بحسب استطلاعات الرأي الأمريكية؟ أم تضافرت جهود الساسة والكتاب والإعلاميين لشيطنة الإسلام والعالم العربي بعد أحداث 11 من أيلول سبتمبر 2001؟ وكيف تنظر المرأة المسلمة في المعترك السياسي الغربي إلى هذه الأمور؟ وما هو دورها في تذليل العقبات ومكافحتها؟ من داخل حزب الاحترام أو Respect Party في بريطانيا.
When I saw how the war on terror was impacting both in Afghanistan where innocent people being killed, and as a British citizen my country was going to war and I felt a responsibility that my taxes were being used to bomb other people. It was a personal matter then as a citizen to stand up. Our voice is something which many people can relate to. Whilst I'm overtly a Muslim and in some ways a minority in British society, yet the values that we stand for, which are equality, justice and peace, are values that the vast majority of the population share.
الصراع الدائر في الشرق الأوسط من يديره من خلف الستار؟ وما هي مساراته المتعددة؟ هل هناك خشية متزايدة من تحول الربيع العربي إلى ثورة ثقافية ناشئة؟ وما يعني ذلك؟ وهل يمكن أن تختزل الثورات العربية بمسميات ومشاريع فئوية ضيقة من داخل منتدى النزاعات والعقل الاستخباري والدبلوماسي البريطاني؟
So we had this sort of language coming out, language that talked of like 1/3 of the Syrian people should die in order to free the 2/3 of the Syrians. This very sharp sectarian language which has been characteristic of this period, not just in Syria, but throughout the region.
الحرب الناعمة ما هي؟ ومن يستخدمها؟ وما هي أهدافها؟ وما علاقتها بمكافحة الإرهاب؟ وما هي سبل الحماية من حرب كهذه والتصدي لها؟ وماذا يعني استخدام اللغة لتهيئة أرض المعركة؟ وما هو الرد الفعال على المؤسسات العاملة تحت شعار منظمات حقوق الإنسان والتي هي جزء من هذه المعركة؟
I'll start by saying something about in 1997, the deputy head of US intelligence wrote in the US Army War College Journal, and he said, we're seeing a new kind of war now, and this is an information war. And he said, we write the script, we control the players, and he said societies who don't have the capacity just won't be able to keep up with what we're doing. And I think particularly in Syria, this is what we've seen. But if you look back at Iraq, at Afghanistan, the US was spending by 2011 something like nearly $600 million only on information operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I think it's important to look back what they did in Iraq and Afghanistan to see how things have now developed in Syria.
Is it that effective, such kind of warfare?
I think it's, in Syria, I would say they have won, and I think that's probably why President Assad said, you know, we can't win against this kind of media onslaught. I think Syria realized that it's just impossible to win. As the general who wrote in the US Army War College Journal wrote, you know, societies who can't keep up, they'll lose the war. And various commentaries have said that although Assad is winning the war on the ground and crushing forces and really defeating the insurgents, he's not winning the information war.
هل ما زال التاريخ يعد مساحة للتحدث بصدق عن الماضي أم أصبح منظومة للتورية ولإخفاء وطمس حقيقة الأمس؟ وما علاقة ذلك بالصراع العربي الإسرائيلي؟ وهل الحملات المقاطعة وسحب الاستثمارات وفرض العقوبات على إسرائيل تأتي أكلها؟ مع جلعاد أتسمون من الداخل.
Still took me 10 years to leave Israel completely. In 94, at the peak of the Oslo Accords or fantasy, this is where I realized that it is a lost battle. When I saw what were the fruits of this peace enthusiasm within the Israeli society, they basically push the Palestinians to the corner. They told, listen man, forget about returning to your land, forget about that, forget about all of it. I realized that even if there is peace, even if it would have been a success, I really didn't want to be part of it. By then I realized that I was living on Palestinian land, that I enjoy my Western ideal life on the expense of millions of refugees. I didn't want to be part of it, and I left them.
¡Viva la Unión de América Latina! ¡Viva la vida!
الرئيس الفنزويلي يوغو تشافيز صوت ثائر وإطلالات طويلة ومتكررة. لكن المرض حجبه عن شعبه ومعجبيه ومناصريه وحتى مناهضيه. السياسة الشافيزية والحالة الفنزويلية اليوم.
Todavía nos preguntamos en el mundo, igualmente, ¿por qué las tarjetas de crédito tienen que ser de Estados Unidos o de Europa? No pueden ser del mundo sur. Entonces, estamos viendo un mundo que tiene que partir de lo que son las realidades, las fortalezas que tiene. Nosotros tenemos un país con muchos recursos, con muchas garantías, la mayor reserva de petróleo del mundo. Sin embargo, nuestra moneda puede ser desestabilizada producto de las viejas relaciones con el dólar. Toda esta situación requiere cambio.
بعد مرور سنتين على التغييرات التي اجتاحت المنطقة، هل بات الدور الأمريكي في تراجع وأصبح هناك متسع للاعبين جدد؟ وهل الأزمة الأوروبية تلقي بظلالها على المنطقة؟ المقاربة الأوروبية للمنطقة والتغييرات الحاصلة من الداخل.
And these effects, in my opinion, shocked the European, say, political elites at the beginning, and without a capacity of understanding the nature of the events. If you look, for example, at the case of Tunisia, in my opinion, Tunisia was a complete shock in the sense that nobody had any idea or perception of the fact that the regime of Ben Ali was near to collapse. And if you look at the level of the relations we had, all of us in Europe with Tunisia, you can detect any real signals of understanding of the changing situation on the ground. Still, Egypt was a surprise, in my opinion, for most of the Europeans and of the Westerners in general.
What are you saying here that you lost touch to a certain extent with the region?
One of the biggest mistakes, in my opinion, that have been done in the West is that of denying the capacity of the masses, of the people, of the Arab people, to raise against their own authoritarian regimes. This was one of the biggest mistakes.